Canada having the highest rate of multiple sclerosis, tell me why almost every single person I've been able to talk to on Instagram have, majority of you guys have literally been from the States. Like, where are you Canadian MSers at? Hey guys, so in this video I wanted to be talking about how multiple sclerosis is my invisible disability. I honestly don't know why it took me this long to film this video because I actually wrote a blog post on this in February of this year. You guys should check it out. I'll put the link down below. I just thought I would talk about it in a video and maybe be able to relate to some of you guys who also have an invisible disability, even if it's not MS, because apparently 96% of people who have disabilities are invisible, and I actually never knew that. And I'm sure the many of you watching my video right now may not even have MS, but let me know in the comments below because I would still love to hear from you. Some things you go through with your invisible disability, and for you MSers, let me know in the comments below if your MS is invisible or if you use a mobility device, because I think it's cool if you use one, but I just thought I would share my experience with having an invisible disability since the age of 19. And before I begin this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because it'd be cool. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy this video. The question of, do you need to appear physically disabled to be disabled? This is really annoying for me because I had this one course last year. It was called Disability Issues, and our professor told us to talk about invisible disability that takes place within the hidden city, but to also take a picture to talk about that one picture. So the picture I actually used, I'm going to put down right now so you guys can see. But before I even show you guys, just take a look at this picture, because this is the picture that's above every single accessible seat in the train that's the closest to the door. And just tell me what's wrong with this image. So if you're not one of the 4 people, you better not be sitting on the train, is basically what that little label is saying. But what happens when your disability is invisible? Does that mean that you can't sit on the train? Like, where is my image on that thing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have a cane, I don't have a wheelchair, I'm not pregnant, nor do I have a guide dog. 96% of disabilities are invisible. So it's like, if the vast majority of disabilities are invisible, why isn't that invisible disability in that picture? Because people can't see it and people don't know if you're actually lying about it. Like, I have a card in my wallet that literally says I'm on Ocrevus for my multiple sclerosis, so I can literally just pull it out of my wallet and show people and prove it to them that I have multiple sclerosis. But why do I need to prove myself? Why do I need to prove that I have a disability that I honestly don't want to have, and you're just making me feel shit about for even sitting on the accessible seat? Why is it that I need to look physically disabled to be allowed to sit on these accessible seats when I actually have a really hard time walking around a lot of the times, especially in the heat? In winter, I'm usually okay, kind of, but in the heat, I'm like, my legs give up and it's so bad. But wow, like, this label goes to show that you need to look physically disabled just to be classified as someone with a disability, or just to be that person who's allowed to sit on these accessible seats. A lot of the times I do feel like I need to use a mobility device like a cane for people to know that I need a seat. But why is it that the world works that way? So being young and not looking like someone with a disability is honestly frustrating for me. I actually have a video on this of what it's like having multiple sclerosis at a young age, so I'll put a link in here somewhere if you guys want to check it out. But yeah, so just being young and just not looking like someone who needs a seat, basically, it's just so frustrating for me, because it's like, it's already bad as it is because my disability is invisible, but it's also horrible for me because even when I sit on these blue seats that I was just talking about, right, no one ever understands because I look young AF. Like, guys, I look like I'm in high school, and I get that a lot too, and I left high school like 6 years ago, so no, I'm not in high school. And just quite frustrating for me because it's like, once again, it's like, why do I need to look physically disabled to be allowed to sit on those seats? But for me, right, I can't walk and I'm young, and it's like people don't get it. They're just like, you're not even old. And it's like, I get that I'm not old, but I have a disability that I never asked for, so give me that seat, because my legs are literally going to collapse right now. Also, just being young with multiple sclerosis as well, like aside from the invisible disability portion of this, I find the majority of you guys are in your 30s, so you guys are like significantly older than me, but I don't find anything wrong with that, because I honestly, like, I've said this to a lot of MSers already, I feel like I could connect with people a lot better who are in their 30s than people who are in their 20s. And it's like, it's because people in their 20s don't really get me. Unless they're in their late 20s and then 30s and older, they understand me. But it's like people my age, I could just never explain myself, so I don't. Like people in my program, they ask me for my Instagram and whatever, and when they realize I make videos on YouTube, they're like, oh, how come you never told me that? But in my head I'm thinking, because I have an invisible disability and I don't want to explain it to you because you're not gonna get it. Like, I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of MSers have told me this. They told me I'm really mature for my age, which I do believe. I feel like I am. But it's like, I don't blame other people who are closer to my age to not be as mature if they're not going through what I'm going through or going through another disability. And it's like, it's fair, but I guess it's just how it works. Being young and just not looking like someone with a disability is just really hard. And just even having a disability for that matter is also really hard, because if it was a learning disability, I feel like it would have been a little more different for me. But because it's actually affecting me physically, it's really hard. And I knew that this day would come. Like, I knew I was going to get a disease someday, but I honestly thought I would be like in my 50s maybe. But I just never once thought it would happen so soon. And happen when I was 19, but it is what it is. So I remember when I had a professor, I think it was about a year and a half ago, she asked this question that I honestly don't remember what the question was, but I do remember what I said to the class too. I remember saying how because multiple sclerosis is my invisible disability, a lot of people on the train don't realize that, and they don't understand why I'm even sitting on those accessible seats on the train. And like for me, I can easily pull out my multiple sclerosis card from my wallet, because I do have a card. I would show it to you guys right now, but my bag is all the way over there. But I have a card that literally says I'm on Ocrevus for whatever amount of years, and I have relapsing remitting multiple sclerosis. And I could totally pull that out and people will just leave me alone. But it's like, why is it that I need to explain to people why I'm even sitting on this seat? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel the need to explain myself and explain my disability. But yeah, so I had a professor about a year and a half ago, right? And I was just basically saying that. I was basically saying how annoying it was for me to not be allowed to sit on these accessible seats, given that my invisible disabilities doesn't fall under those 4 pictures that you guys just saw, right? And I was telling her that, and she was telling me how I can actually wear like a button or something like that, or a badge, of that people basically know that you need a seat, that you have a disability, and that you need to sit down. And when she actually told me this, I was actually pretty surprised, because I didn't honestly know of that. But then I was like, wow, might as well get a tattoo on my forehead that says disabled person needs a seat, because that's what it feels like right now. Like, why do I need to explain myself? Like, let me sit down on these seats if I'm going to sit down. People in person, a lot of them just don't understand. Like, I find that a lot of people who do understand me are either MSers or just people who watch me on YouTube and understand me as a person. But yeah, so like, I know I make videos on YouTube and I'm pretty open about what I'm going through, right? And I'm totally fine with that. Like, heck, I talk about so many things on YouTube, and it's even come down to wearing diapers. Like, I don't care. But at the same time, it's like, I find it really hard to explain myself to people in real life, because the people in real life aren't the people that support me from YouTube or Instagram, because those are MSers or people who just understand me, that just support me, right? But the people in real life don't really know me, so I find it really hard to connect with people in real life a lot of the times. Another thing I wanted to be talking about were accessible toilets. This is actually something I'm not even gonna like think about right now because of COVID. I'm not gonna be using a public bathroom right now, and I don't even think any of them are open right now. But yeah, I'm never gonna be using a public bathroom ever again, especially because now that I've discovered adult diapers. But I do have like a shitload of diapers in that little corner over there because I never leave the house without wearing one. And yeah, so even prior to discovering those diapers, right, I would hate the fact that I would always have to wait in line to use the bathroom. Like, you know what I mean? But the accessible toilets, no one really had to wait for them. Like, if people were to use it, it was for people who had disabilities or people who, for the most part, just looked a lot older. And it was like people just left them in kind of thing, you know? But for me, that just wasn't a thing because I look young, I have an invisible disability, and people actually can't really see that I can't walk unless I'm actually trying to walk and like dragging my feet across the floor. But yeah, so some of the times when the accessible toilets are free and I'm able to go in, that's usually the first bathroom I walk into, even though it's the closest to the door. And usually when I come out, there's always that one person who gets so annoyed with me. They'll always make a comment about how I shouldn't even be using that and whatever, but it's like, I'm sorry, no one told you to walk all the way down the f***ing room just to use the toilet. Like, you could have used the accessible toilet yourself, but I guess you didn't, so that's on you. So it's like, why are you taking it out on me? Like, it's not like I didn't do anything bad, I just peed. And it's like, apparently that's a crime to people when you use the accessible toilet and you look young and you have an invisible disability. So it's like, yeah, it's annoying. These parking spaces, I feel like you guys are already gonna know where I'm going with this. There's like labels on the ground, right? The parking spaces closer to the door of the mall or whatever usually have like labels on the ground for people specifically in wheelchairs. Or for pregnant women, right? Or for women who have a stroller or whatnot. Or expectant mothers. I think that's the word I was looking for. For me, why I find these parking spaces annoying is because I have an invisible disability, and it's like almost as if I can't actually like, it's almost as if even, okay, this is not really an issue right now because I don't drive, but this is something that really does annoy me and just makes me not want to drive times 100. But it's almost as if I can't drive in that spot because I'm not on a wheelchair, and because I have an invisible disability, and because that invisible disability is imprinted on the cement, it's like, no, Pri, you can't park there. You have to park all the way down the parking lot. And it's like, why? Why do I have to do that? Like, I can't even walk for long periods of time in summer. And when I say I can't walk for long periods of time in summer, I'm talking about I can't walk for more than like a minute most of the times. But yeah, it's just really frustrating for me because it's like, why is it that our invisible disabilities, we can't be parked closer up? That's pretty much it to my video. Let me know in the comments below if you're able to relate to some of the things that I do talk about, or if you're not, I'd still love to hear from you. So subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Follow me on Instagram and check out my blog. I'll post links down below as always. And I will see you guys in my next video that I will try my best to get posted for next week. Bye guys.